Jeremy Corbyn, you are calling for the debate tomorrow. Theresa May, we know, is going to come to the House of Commons and explain why she did what she did. Would you like to see a proper debate and a vote at the end of that?
Yes, I would, because I think Parliament should have a say in this, and the Prime Minister could quite easily have done that. She took a decision sometime last week that she was going to work with Macron and Trump in order to have an attack on the chemical weapons establishments in Syria. She could have recalled Parliament last week. It's only the Prime Minister that can recall Parliament. Or she could have delayed until tomorrow when Parliament returns itself. There is precedent over previous interventions where Parliament has had a vote. And I think what we need in this country is something more robust, like a War Powers Act, so that governments do get held to account by Parliament for what they do in our name.
And if there is now a parliamentary vote, would you like that to be a vote which would, as it were, tie her hands to stop a repetition of what happened this week happening again?
What I would like is a vote which outlines a process that could now happen. That is, giving the OPCW the chance to go in and fully investigate everything, including the debris from the bombing attack, but also a very strong steer to our government to now go back to the UN and promote a resolution and work might and main to bring Russia and the United States together on this so that we do get a political process in Syria, as well, of course, as the removal of chemical weapons, which was done after 2013 when Lavrov and Kerry reached an agreement which had a big effect. After all, several hundred tons of chemical weapons were destroyed as a result of that process. It can be done, it's hard work, and it takes patience, but surely that is better than the danger of escalation of this conflict into a proxy war between the US and Russia over the skies of Syria. You
mentioned the OPCW there, the Organisation for Prevention of Chemical Weapons. Now, do you accept that when they reported last year that Assad was responsible for a chemical attack in 2017, they were right?
I've no problem with their reporting, their investigation, or the quality of it, but they must be given the chance to do it now. There is evidence, of course, very strong evidence, about the use of chlorine, which is not itself a banned substance because it's so easy to make, but clearly as a weapon it is illegal. That has been used by a number of parties in the conflict, but there's quite clear evidence there. The OPCW must be given the chance to report on it. They are, after all, on their way to Douma. They may even be there now.
They are there now, I think, and we've got reports in the papers of the smell of chlorine coming from the clothes of children and so forth.
Sir.
If they came back and said, yes, this was Assad's regime, there was one helicopter above it, and this was a chemical attack against international law, would you then be in favour of using missiles?
I would then say, confront Assad with that evidence, confront any other group that may be fingered because of that, maybe, I'm saying maybe, I don't know, and then say they must now come in and remove and destroy those weapons as they did in 2013 and 2015. But the wider context has to be promotion of a political solution and a ceasefire. We cannot go on. 400,000 people have died in Syria. 2 million are external refugees.
But nobody died as a result of these attacks, and they may have degraded Assad's chemical weapons facilities really substantially.
There may be other ones we don't know about. There may be a fallout from it. But the point is also of the legality of doing it. Because if we want to get the moral high ground around the world, as a member of the Security Council, as a country with a long tradition of international involvement, shall we say, then we have to abide by international law. And I say to the Foreign Secretary, I say to the Prime Minister, where is the legal basis for this? The legal basis would have to be...
humanitarian, they say.
Well, it would have to be self-defence or the authority of the UN Security Council. The humanitarian intervention is a legally debatable concept at the present time. And I would have thought, from the point of recalling Parliament or waiting 2 days, things could have been different. But it looked awfully to me as though the Prime Minister was more interested in following Donald Trump's lead than anything else. And this is policy made up by Twitter.